Speak curious, okay? Welcome again, video. We will talk about a serious disagreement legal between the state of Texas and Washington regarding the border with Mexico, a disagreement that according to some sources may affect the stability of federalism, North American. And if you are not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and turn on the notification bell to avoid miss any news. Speak curious, okay? Welcome again, video. We will talk about a serious disagreement legal between the state of Texas and Washington regarding the border with Mexico, a disagreement that according to some sources may affect the stability of federalism, North American. And if you are not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and turn on the notification bell to avoid miss any news. For an open conflict, some sources, especially those that are more alarmist, they say yes, but to answer that safely, we need to understand, where does responsibility begin and end? Of governors in the United States, and above all, who effectively controls the armed forces of each state. In the United States, states have a high level of autonomy to decide many topics ranging from those related to taxes and fees up to security public, such as the application or not the death penalty. However, in some areas, what the government federal mandates must be followed by states, and some responsibilities are assumed by the federal government, as is the case of security and border control. The big problem is that for some states, such as Texas, to Governor Greg Abbott, the federal government, you're doing a terrible job on this one area. And in fact, when we look at the numbers, we see that 2023 was one of the worst years of history in terms of illegal immigration. Only in the month of December 2023. The U.S. Border Patrol, the federal agency responsible for border protection, arrested more than 225,000 illegal immigrants who tried to enter the United States through border with Mexico, a record number, which means hundreds more, thousands of illegal immigrants they probably managed to pass, and that only in December. And when we look at illegal immigration data during the Biden administration, we see clearly they are far superior to the Obama and Trump administrations, and even before this great one of flow. Washington immigrants, through their federal agency, attempts to prevent states take measures to reinforce its own borders, since, as I mentioned, that this task belongs to the administration federal and not state in the case of Texas. The police force that Governor Abbott is employing for reinforcements in the border with Mexico is the Guard National Reserve military force that, unlike the armed forces regulars that are federal. These are states, that is, each governor can call up your National Guard to assist security forces in missions such as support in natural disasters, internal riots, or, as is the case of Texas, reinforces border with Mexico to prevent immigrants from entering illegal, which is something I'll come back to again. Once again, it cannot be done by states, with this function falling to the Border Patrol, which is federal. Therefore, this is the root of the iron arm between the Texas and Washington. A tension that increased recently when some other states, also governed by Republicans, signed a letter supporting the governor's initiative. Texan now answering the question. Video title: This arm wrestling can lead to internal armed conflict in the extreme, even at the extreme if the voltages really get out of control. Of what can happen are specific shocks in some areas, especially if the federal troops receive orders to advance and remove the barriers installed by the Texan government, and if on the other side, any most exalted commander of the Guard. Texas National decides to bar shooting this passage, but civil war, similar to the terrible conflict that is between 861 and 1865, left more than 500,000 dead in the United States, is to say what minimum even very unlikely, because the Texas National Guard knows that if firing shots will be prosecuted federal level and may face penalties, very heavy prison terms, especially if they injure or kill any agent federal. There is not, at least for now, no coalition of states willing to support something like that, so that what's happening in Texas is, by least for now, just one disagreement between the state level and federal on the best way to deal with illegal immigration may result in some shock, most serious point among these forces. But for the reasons I highlighted here, I believe it will evolve into a conflict open and much less for a war civil, as some more sources alarmists are ripe for something worse. Follow our channel by subscribing and leaving your like. More curiosities and news coming soon. A big hug, my curious friend.